I'm Lorilyn, and thank you for joining me today. This is week 4 at Lake Tahoe Community College, spring quarter 2020. And we've been working on our standing poses to develop strength and stability in our body. It's also training our minds. We've been going a little deeper into our breath, and last week we introduced bandhas. Now, what are bandhas? Bandhas are locks or seals in your body, your physical body, that enable you to direct your energy, stabilize your core, and have a more effective practice. Now, bandha, the word bandha comes into English from its Sanskrit, into English as like bind. So you think about binding these special spots in your body to control and direct your energy. The same way that damming a river kind of controls and directs the energy into a useful source that can be manifested in so many powerful ways. So let's talk about those 3 bandhas. Our first bandha is right at our pelvic floor. If you can imagine drawing little crosshairs right at the base of your pelvic floor, at the lowest part of your torso, okay? And then if we were to wrap a cord or a string right around where those 2 crosshairs unite, drawing up would feel something like engaging your bandhas. So it's a lifting up of the pelvic floor. Give that a try right now. I'm going to tighten things down there a bit and draw up. Sometimes it can be described as like a sensation of stopping the flow of urine. I like to think of it more as a lifting up of your internal organs down below. Now, feel how that's working for you? Hold that there. Keep that little seal, that lock, that lift. Now, your second energy lock, your second bandha, is right here at your navel, right in this area right here. It's called Uddiyana Bandha. Uddiyana Bandha. It translates into English as flying upward lock. So just from that description, you can kind of feel it starting to happen already as you pull your belly button in towards your spine, like you're cinching up a belt right there, and then lift it up towards your sternum chest. Still keeping Mula Bandha, your lowest lock, your root lock engaged. Uddiyana Bandha takes the energy that you're sealing off from your pelvic floor and sends it upward. And your third energy lock is right here at your chin, and it's affected by just lowering your chin to your sternum chest. Or you have that little crook of your collarbones, that little divot, that sweet little place right there. Bringing your chin right into that spot. Give it a try. Keep Mula Bandha engaged. Keep Uddiyana Bandha engaged. And now, with your hands on your knees, eyes of your elbows facing up, draw the chin down to that sternum chest, down into the crook of those collarbones. Take 3 deep breaths. Expanding the breath into your rib cage and feeling it fill in all directions. Now release your chin lock as you complete your exhalation and bring your chin back up to center. And then release those 2 lower locks for a minute. You can feel how you're using muscular energy to engage. As we move through our practice today, we're going to keep a special awareness on that Mula Bandha root lock and Uddiyana Bandha belly lock, flying upward lock. At the end of our practice, we finish with a chin lock, JALANDHARA Bandha, in bridge pose. And that balances our practice. So that's your little teaching on your asana today. Let's begin by coming onto our mats, which you already are, Did you take some hip support, like a blanket or a couple of blocks? I recommend it. We want the knees in Svastikasana to be a little lower or equal to the upper rim of our pelvis. So if the knees are up high, take a little more support underneath your hips, and that will allow the knees to lower. You'll be much more comfortable. Your right shin is in first. Right is the side of beginnings, your masculine side. Left side comes around to the outside, left shin comes around, and the foot tucks underneath your shin. So the heels are pointing away from center. Now push down with the thighs, catch hold of your knees, straighten your arms, turn the eyes of the elbows up, bring your inner arms to your outer arms. Inner arms to outer arms. Now lift your sternum chest. Seal off at Mula Bandha. Seal off at Uddiyana Bandha. Good. Now bend your elbows and bring your palms together. Turn the base of the thumbs to the sternum chest. And as if you could fish hook those thumbs underneath your sternum bone to lift up even higher, do that. Press the tops of your shoulders down, level your chin, and before you close your eyes, soften your gaze. Just let your eyes relax and let them move back into your head. Have a sensation of like stepping back from a window. And then as the eyes soften, notice you see a little more out of your peripheral vision. You see more when you become receptive with your gaze. Yeah. Now moisten your lips. And then close your lips. Let your tongue relax down onto the lower palate of your mouth. And close your eyes. Keeping the muscles around the eyes relaxed, allow the orbs of the eyes to draw back even further away from the lids. And let them set down. Imagine them tucking down underneath your cheekbones. Quiet, cool, and dark. Notice your breath in and out of your nostrils. And because you are still working with those two bandhas, energy locks, the breath is up in your rib cage. Deep, full inhale, and noticing the pause at the top of your inhale. Completing exhale, pouring the breath out from collarbones down the rib cage. Pausing at the base of your exhale. Re-engaging Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale and expand the ribs again. Lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Climb the breath up the spine. Pause at the top. Exhale, so smooth, delicate, fine. All the way to completion. Belly draws in and up again as you wring out that last bit of breath. One more beautiful inhalation here. Expanding the ribs from the base of the ribs, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Even feel your collarbones fill with breath, your throat and even your head. And then pause. Exhale smoothly from the crown of your head all the way down. And then one more final inhalation right here. And as you exhale, bow your head. Link the action of tucking your chin into the crook of your collarbones with your exhalation. And now we honor those who've gone before us on this path. This is a spiritual path. Yoga is not a religion, but it is a spiritual path back to your true self, back to the divine energy that exists in the world, the energy that is within you and all beings everywhere. And so we thank those who've gone before us on this path. Sage Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras, our guidebook for our practice. Sri B.K.S. Iyengar, author of Light on Yoga and many, many other discourses and books, our guru. And we honor all of our teachers, all walks of our lives. And we bow to our greatest teacher, never forgetting the truth and the divinity, the perfect you that is inside. As you approach your next exhalation, draw your hands down to your thighs and turn your palms to face up. Connect the tip of your index finger and thumb, make a little circle. Let the other 3 fingers naturally relax and slightly curl up towards the palm. Keep your eyes closed, inhale, and bring your chin up to center. And together, we will offer 3 ohms. It's a vibration that helps you concentrate in your practice. It's healing, it's meditative, it's devotional. We'll do the 3 ohms all together now. Exhale to begin. Press the breath out. Inhale. Give yourself the opportunity to absorb that vibration. Notice how you feel. And then open your eyes. And if you're at all uncomfortable with Om, notice that it sounds a lot like Amen. And you can chant that as well. Okay? Let's come to all fours. If you have a blanket on your mat, you move it out of the way now. And I'm going to teach you a little flow today. It's called Circling the Winds. It's a really nice warm-up or cool down or anytime experience. What we are going to focus on today with this Circling the Winds vinyasa is Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and deep, complete rhythmic breaths that are linking with the movements that we're making. And that should be enough to work on for now, right? So coming to all fours on your mat, take a look here, and I'm going to go through the flow a little quickly for demonstration purposes, but I want you to see what you are going to be doing, and then you can feel and experience it. There you have it, Circling the Winds. Did you notice how I did kind of move in a circular motion, right? Forwards and back, up and down. Each upward movement or forward movement is an inhalation. Each downward movement and back movement is an exhalation. Let's do it all together and have some fun. Here we go. So coming to tabletop pose. Fingers spread wide. Look down at your hands and make sure that they're slightly turned out. Just a little bit of a turnout here. Good. And then the eyes of the elbows face forward as well. Notice how that brings your shoulder blades together onto your back and broadens your collarbones. Straighten the arms. Now take a peek between your knees and make sure that your feet are facing straight back and they're not splaying out to the side, nor are they turning in. It's a nice ankle stretch here. Press all 10 toenails down into the mat. Now, inhale and look up. Gaze up, keep the belly firm, and keep Mula Bandha engaged. Keep Uddiyana Bandha engaged. Now, as you exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips, keep the arms straight, keep the shoulders lifting away from the wrists, and press back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. If your heels are up off of the mat, that's fine, no big deal. If your back feels a little tight, bend your knees, but keep those hips as high as you can. Now your next breath is an inhalation, keeping Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha engaged. Inhale and come forward to all fours, untuck your toes, and gaze up. Find a little back bend between your shoulders. Next exhalation, round your spine, roll the hips back towards the heels, and keep your hands well rooted on the mat. As you inhale, look forward to the front of your mat. Slide yourself forward, inhaling. As you exhale, bend your elbows straight back and lower down. Untuck your toes. With your hands next to your middle ribs, inhale and lift your chest. Let your hands float up off of the mat just a little. Use your back muscles. And then exhaling, tuck toes, come back to all fours, and then untuck toes and press hips to heels. Next breath in, keep working with those bandhas. Inhale, come forwards, look up, little cow pose, gazing up like a sway back cow, and then tuck your toes under, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Push away with the hands, press back into your thighs. Now look to the front of your mat, and as you inhale a forward movement, step forward with your right foot and come up onto your fingertips. As you exhale, bring your back knee down to the mat. Untuck your back toes. Are you still working with those bandhas? Keep that pelvic floor firm, the belly firm, and then sweep the arms up. Inhale, palms face each other as they lift above your head and they reach towards the back of your mat. As you exhale, bring your fingertips back down to the mat, tuck your back toe under, lift your back knee, straighten your leg. Take a deep breath in, and then step back, flatten palms, back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. As you inhale, look forward, step forward with your left foot. As you exhale, bring the back knee down to the mat, untuck the back toes. As you inhale, sweep the arms high, reach back, use those energy locks, critical here, pelvic lock, belly lock, reach it back. Now as you exhale, fingertips come forward to the mat, back toes tuck under, and the back knee lifts. As you inhale, look forward, stretch the chest forward, stretch your right heel back. As you exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Feet are hips distance wide, and the heels are turning out, the big toes are turning in. Take 2 more breaths right here. Let your practice settle into your body. Find the breath. And at any time, if this becomes too much of an exertion, or your brain starts to get all chattery and anxious, those are all signs that you should just come down to child's pose and breathe. And then once that brain calms, once the body becomes receptive again, you move back into your flow. Let's take circling the winds one more time. Engage Mula Bandha, engage Uddiyana Bandha, and look forward. Inhale, come onto your knees. Untuck your toes. Exhale, round your spine and press the hips back. Look forward. Inhale, slide forward. Keep your elbows in close. Exhale, and lower down like a little mini push-up. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your chest. Let your hands float above the mat just a little. And notice how that really brings those back muscles into the game. And exhaling, hands press, toes tuck under. Inhale, come up to all fours. Exhale, untuck toes, press hips back to heels. Inhale, come forward, little sway back, cow, back bend between the shoulder blades, gaze up. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, press back into your thighs. Take a breath or two right here, and we'll prepare to step forward with our right foot into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Look forward, inhale, step forward with your right foot. Bring the back knee down to the mat and untuck the back toes. You're up on your fingertips here. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Open up that chest to the sky. Exhale, back to the mat with the fingers. Tuck back toes, lift back knees. Keep those bandhas engaged. Inhale and press back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, step forward, left foot. Come onto your fingertips. Exhale, right knee down to the mat. Untuck the back toes. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Reach back, gaze up to the sky. Exhale, back to the mat with the fingertips. Tuck back toes under. Lift your back knee. Take a deep breath in, stretch chest forward, stretch right heel back. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to all fours. Keep those bandhas engaged. Exhale, round your spine and press the hips back. Look forward. Inhale, slide forward. Keep your elbows in nice and close. Exhale, lower the chest down. Hands right next to your middle ribs. Inhale and lift your chest. Hover the hands above the mat. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Press your toenails down. Tuck your buttocks towards your heels. Exhale. Come back to all fours. Tuck toes under. And then untuck the toes as you press back to child's pose. Adho Mukha Virasana. Inhale, back up to all fours and gaze up. Exhale, tuck toes under and press it back. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, or come to child's pose, or come to what we would call kind of a puppy pose. The hips stay up nice and high. The head releases down between the upper arms. Breathe here. Whatever version you have taken, enjoy it, and keep your bandhas engaged. Take one final breath. And now walk your feet in towards your hands. Bend your knees as you get closer to your hands. And then let your torso legitimately rest on your thighs. Let the front ribs come to the thighs. And then take the edge of your hand, the pinky edge of your hand, tuck it into the crease of your elbows, and let those arms dangle. Give the hands a little bit of a break. They were holding weight there for a while. Give the shoulders a little bit of a break. They were holding weight there for a while. Now, if you have your rib cage legitimately on your thighs, you can start to straighten your leg. You can start to lift from the center of your hamstring up. But if that chest moves away from the thighs, go back to a deeper bend in the knees. This is best for you right now. A few more breaths, and take this opportunity here to stretch your face. You know, you're upside down. Gravity is on your side here. Open your eyes wide, stretch your jaw, even stick your tongue out. And stretch the root of your tongue. Clears your throat. Good. Now let the arms just ragdoll happily down onto the floor. And then take your hands to your shins, and we're going to roll ourselves up to standing to Tadasana, but keep Mula Bandha engaged, keep Uddiyana Bandha engaged. And notice this time as you really work with those bandhas, as you tuck your chin into your chest and you slowly walk yourself up, is it just a little bit easier? Once you get a hold of those bandhas, well, it's kind of like riding a bike. At first you have a hard time figuring it out, how to balance, how to handle yourself. And then one day, you're like riding your bike, right? It happens. The balance just naturally happens. Well, that's what you have to look forward to if you continue in this practice of yoga with your bandhas. You keep working on them. You keep being aware. You keep being aware. And then one day, when you get on your mat, it'll just happen. It's really cool, okay? So come to the long side of your mat. So if you need to change the direction of your mat, do so now. And then find your yoga blocks or whatever you're using in place of the yoga blocks. Maybe it's two matching cans of food, something like that. You know, something that's about maybe, I don't know, what about 8 inches high or something like that. 8 to 10 inches high. So whatever you're using for your blocks, place them at the back of your mat on either side of your mat. And then stand in front of the blocks and have your feet hips distance wide. Reach your arms down next to your sides and close your eyes. So here you are in Tadasana, also called Samastiti, equal standing pose. And take a moment here and just rock forward a little bit. And notice how when you rock forward, how your toes start to grip real firm to the mat, right? Your heels get a little light. Now rock back. And notice how your kneecaps lift. Your legs kind of try to balance you a little bit as you come back onto your heels. Lift your toes up off of the mat. Keep the ball of the foot on the mat. Now reach your toes forward. Spread your toes and gently set them down. So they're not holding weight. They're sensitive, like your fingertips. And you just set each one of them down, like there's little suction cups on the bottom of them. All right? Now, feeling your feet, you lift your inner ankles as if you had like a half an orange underneath the arch of your foot. The arch of your foot is right here on the inner part of your foot, right in through here. Whoop, 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 okay? So if you lift those inner ankles up towards your inner knees, eyes are still closed. It was okay if you peeked to see my foot demonstration. If your eyes are still closed, or close your eyes again, and just imagine that you have a half an orange underneath the arches of your feet. Those inner ankles lift. You should feel your knees go to work, and the kneecaps draw up. The upper thighs firm, and they press back. Mula Bandha engages. Uddiyana Bandha engages. Feel your chest lift. Reach down towards your outer ankles with your fingertips to release your shoulders away from your ears. Now squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your sternum chest more. Keep your chin level and maybe a slight tuck in the chin so that you can lift more through the upper palate of the mouth and the crown of the head. Breathing here, full body breath, keeping those bandhas engaged. You might even be feeling some heat build in your body. You can break a sweat standing still in this pose. Now, open your eyes. Okay, here we go. UTTHITA Trikonasana, triangle pose. Bend your elbows and bring your palms just above your sternum chest with your fingertips touching. Now, bend your knees. Take a little peek and make sure your knees are not traveling past your toes. Keep the toes light, but when you look down, they should be visible. Roll the buttocks down, draw your belly in, and now using those two energy locks, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, inhale, step or hop your feet wide, extend your arms. HASTAPADASANA, hand-foot pose, hand-foot pose. Take a look at your feet, turn the big toes slightly in, and then press into your outer heels to lift your inner ankles. Bring your hands to your hips for a moment. You want to use the whole surface of your foot in this pose. So if you press into that outer heel, you lift the inner ankles, you should feel your arches engage and lift and become active. You should also feel your legs firm. So you're drawing up from the inner edges of your legs, from inner ankles to inner knees, from inner knees all the way up to Mula Bandha. And then Mula Bandha lifts you up to Uddiyana Bandha. How strong and stable do your legs feel now? Yeah? Keep your hands on your hips for another moment. Turn your right foot out, turn your left foot in for PARSVAKONASANA. Right foot turns out 90 degrees. Left foot turns in about 30, and you are front heel to back arch alignment. Your hips are level. Your pelvis facing forward, your sternum bone and navel facing forward. Now, reach your right arm out to your side and shoot those fingers forward. Take a deep breath in as you press back with your left heel, outer heel, and your left upper thigh. This leg is strong. Exhale and stretch away from your left heel. Use your bandhas. And then bring your hand to the block on the outside of your ankle. Be light on that hand. Turn the eye of the elbow forward. You can even come up onto your fingertips. And then drawing your right hip back. Reach your right armpit closer to the end of your mat. Look at your left elbow and bend that left elbow back, 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 back to rotate the torso forward. So the lower right ribs come forward, the left side ribs roll back. Now you can reach your arm up to the ceiling. Keep light on that hand on the block. If you don't have a block, you can bring your hand to your shin. That works just as well. Deep breath here, shoulder blades together, lengthening through the sides of the spine, lengthening through the sides of the ribs. Turn to look up. Don't let the head sink. Reach to the crown of the head. Stay firm here. Use those bandhas. One more breath. And then inhale. Use that top arm to come back up. Turn your feet to face forward. Make sure they're still in line with each other. Bring your hands back to your hips. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees for PARSVAKONASANA. Left foot, right foot angles in 30. Hips level. Extend your left arm. Tighten the muscles to the bone. Firm the thighs. Press into your outer right heel and push back with your upper right thigh. The leg becomes very firm. Now breathe up this left side of your body. Inhale all the way up. And then as you exhale, reach as far over as you can. Keep those bandhas engaged. I know there's a lot to think about right now. But hey, it gets you out of your own mundane life, right? Yeah, when you're really in your practice, the beauty of it is, that's all you can think of. You're present, you're breathing. Draw your left hip back a little more. Reach that left armpit forward a little bit more. With your right hand on your hip, bend that elbow back a bit more to bring the torso around, to rotate those side ribs. And then reach your right arm up. Stay light on that left arm. Use your core. Use your bandhas. No, it's not easy, but really, rarely is anything that is easy worth it, right? Engage a little bit more. Reach to the crown of your head. Turn to look up and celebrate where you are right here, right now. Feel your feet. Take one more deep breath in. You've got this. Inhale. Use that top arm to help you come up. Turn your feet to face forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Exhale and fold forward. Toes are slightly in, heels are slightly out. Let your hands come down to the mat if they reach the mat, well, that's great. If they don't come down to the mat, your blocks are handy. Take your blocks and place your hands on the blocks. Now, slide those blocks in line with the inner arches of your feet. Lift those inner arches of your feet. Take your hands to the blocks, straighten your arms, and look forward. The blocks can come to any height that enables you to concave your spine. This is PARSVAKONASANA with a concave spine. Look forwards and up. Press into those outer heels. Keep your toes light, but on the mat. Lift your kneecaps. Take one more breath. Bring your hands to your hips to come up. Firm legs, inhale, and come back up. Move your blocks back behind you. For UTTHITA PARSVAKONASANA, side angle pose. It's a beautiful pose. It's a hip opener, just like Trikonasana. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Come to HASTAPADASANA. Again, making sure that the front heel is in line with the center of the back arch. Hips are level. Reach your arms out to your sides. Let's do a little more arm work. They had a nice little rest there. Now that front knee is going to track right over your foot. The inner thigh rolls to the outer thigh and the buttock tucks under. So taking a lunge on that right leg. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, inhale. And exhale, take that lunge. Bring your back hand to your back hip. Bring your right hand, reach forward just like you did in triangle pose. Bring your right hand to the block and take the block to the outside of your front foot. And roll the inner right arm to the outer right arm to plug that shoulder in. Press your right thigh into your right lower arm to keep that knee in line with your foot. Bend your left elbow to rotate the torso, just like you did in Trikonasana. And then reach your arms straight up to the ceiling. Look up. Turn your palm to face your head. And optional, you can sweep that arm over your ear. Deepen that stretch. Keep rotating your torso, just like you did in triangle pose. Keep your core engaged. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Strong lunge. Press right upper thigh into lower right arm. Take a final breath. Let's all come up. Inhale and come up. Good. Very dynamic, strength-building poses, right? Hands back to your hips. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees and right foot in 30. Again, back to Parsva, side, Hastapadasana, hand-foot pose. Reach the arms back out. Firm the thighs, lift the chest. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Good. Inhale, keep the chest lifted. As you exhale, bend your left knee. Keep your torso right over your hips for now. Bring your back hand to your back hip, keeping your front knee right over your front foot. Don't let that knee close in. Press it open, and then reach forward and take your hand to the block and bring the block to the outside of your left ankle. Roll your left inner arm to the outer arm. Plug that shoulder in. Bending right elbow, use that to rotate the torso forward again. What's happening with those bandhas? Reach your right arm up, turn your right palm to face your head, and optional, you can sweep that arm over your ear. Turn to look up underneath your ear. Don't let your head sink. You don't want to collapse the neck. Keep it long and light by imagining there's a cord reaching through the crown of your head, giving you a little extra support. Pressing back with your right thigh, firm your belly. Let's come up. Inhale and come up. Straighten both legs. Turn your feet to face forward. Bend your elbows. Bend your knees. And using those bandhas, they'll help you hop better. Inhale, step, or hop yourself back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Take your feet hips distance wide. Bring your arms down next to your sides. Close your eyes and just take a few recovery breaths. When you're concentrating hard on your alignment, sometimes you can end up holding your breath, and know that that's normal. That's why you're practicing. You're practicing to be able to move with your breath in challenging situations on your mat so that You can move with your breath in those challenging situations out there in that world, right? Yeah, this is your training grounds for peace of mind and health and focus and strength. Yoga is amazing. All right, now we're going to practice Virabhadrasana 1. We introduced this pose last week. Take your blocks and just move them out of the way for now. Come to your mat in Tadasana, bend your elbows, bend your knees, and inhaling, bandhas engaged, inhaling, step or hop to HASTAPADASANA. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to turn our right foot out 90 degrees and bring our left foot all the way around to 6, turning our torso to face our front leg. Lift your right toes and turn them out 90 degrees. Begin to turn your torso and turn the back toes. So now all 10 toes are facing the same direction. Your pelvis, the front of your pelvis, is facing forward. Your bandhas are engaged. Now take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend your front knee. Reach your arms out to the side. Turn your palms to face up. And inhaling, reach your arms above your head and reach back with your thumbs. Keep your lunge strong, bringing your right hip back and your left hip forward to keep the pelvis facing your front toes. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, and turn yourself back to HASTAPADASANA. Good work. Going to side B. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees and turn your right toes 90 degrees. So now all 10 toes are facing forward. Your hips are facing your front leg. Reach your arm, bending your front knee. Exhale. Keep the torso straight up and down. Reach your arms out to the side. Turn your palms to face up. And inhale, use those arms to lift and lengthen the side body and the spine. Breathing here, pull back with the thumbs, gaze up. Keep your lunge strong. And take a big breath in, a full breath out. And then inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, turn yourself to face forward. Bring your hands to the top of your head. Bend your knees. And then step or hop your feet back to Tadasana. It's Virabhadrasana 1. Good work. Our next standing pose is UTKATASANA, or fierce pose. Find a block. We're going to do it with a block today. You're going to take this block, you're going to place it between your inner thighs. Have your feet facing forward and hips distance wide as you squeeze the block. Lift the front of your pelvis, lift Mula Bandha, lift Uddiyana Bandha. This is UTKATASANA, fierce pose. Sometimes we call it chair pose because it's kind of like you're sitting back looking for a chair and you're not sure where it is. Let's lift the arms to begin. Roll shoulders back. Inhale, squeeze that block and lift your arms. Feel how strong your legs get when you really engage them into that block. As you exhale, bend your knees. Try to keep your torso straight up and down, still in Tadasana position with the spine. Belly's in, Mula Bandha's engaged, upper arms are next to your ears. Squeeze that block, drop your hips down a little bit more, and take a peek and notice, can you see your toes? You need to be able to see your toes to keep the knees safe. Inhale and rise back up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Now take the block out of the way. That was good. Let's train the arms with the block now. We're going to take the block right between our palms and push into this block. Roll the eyes of your elbows up and let's revisit UTKATASANA. Bring the feet all the way together now and squeeze an imaginary block between the thighs. As you inhale, Lift your arms straight above your head. Try to get the upper arms next to your ears. And as you exhale, reaching that block up, bend your knees. Sit back into that imaginary chair. Take a little peek. Make sure you can still see those toes. Deep breath in. Your lower back is lengthening down towards your heels. Keep squeezing the block with your palms. Look straight forward. Take one more breath in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release that block. Good work. You see why they call it fierce pose? Now our next pose is PARSVAKONASANA. BANDHA, Mani, BANDHA, PARSVAKONASANA. So bound wrist pose in side pose. We're going to begin, again, in Tadasana. Hands just above your chest, bend your knees. Use your bandhas to take your little hop or your step. Inhale, and step or hop your feet wide. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn the torso. So turning your right foot out 90 degrees. Bring that left leg all the way around until all your toes are facing forward. Now, reach your arms back behind you, straight arms. Bend your left arm and catch hold of your right wrist. Pull down on that right wrist. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now, lean back into your back leg, but keep that leg firm. Keep the kneecap lifting, the inner thighs squeezing and scissoring back like you still have a block between them. Gaze up, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, take one more breath in, and then as you exhale, and come forward, lead with the crown of your head. Shift the torso over to the right a bit and come down over your right thigh. Let the head draw in, crown of the head reaching down, working those legs. Deep breath. Keep Mula Bandha engaged. One more. Delicious full inhale and a full exhale. And then rising up, inhale, step forward, exhale. Release your hands. Come back to Tadasana at the front of your mat. Side B, PARSVAKONASANA, BANDHA, Mani, BANDHA, PARSVAKONASANA, bound wrist position in side stretch pose. Bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop the feet wide. Bring your hands to your hips. Turning the torso, turn your left foot out 90 degrees. Roll the right foot around and turn the pelvis, turn the torso to face your front toes. Now, reach your arms down and back. Bending your right elbow, catch hold of your left wrist. Pull down with your arms to lift your chest. Start to lean back to a beautiful back bend. Open up that heart to the sky. Gaze up. Keep scissoring the thighs towards each other. Take one more breath. And then exhaling. Start to come forward. Lead with the crown of your head. Shift your torso a little over towards the left thigh and come all the way down. Any amount. Tuck chin into chest. Deep breath, forehead working towards shin. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Roll them back. Breathe and balance. One more. Full breath in. One more full breath out. And now inhale and rise back up. Gaze up. Exhale, release your wrist and step forward back to Tadasana. Good work. Final standing pose before we go down to seated. Take your yoga block one more time here. You know, fun with props. Take your yoga block and place it right between the inner upper thighs. Your thighs should be getting familiar with this block now, right? This is Baddha Hasta in Tadasana to Baddha Hasta in Uttanasana. So bound arm pose in mountain pose and bound arm pose in forward extension pose. How do we bind our arms? Reach your arms straight back, just like we did a moment ago. Bend your left elbow and catch on to your right wrist. Now, slide that left hand up to your elbow. See if you can get it up to your elbow, maybe just above the elbow. Roll the shoulders back and down. Squeezing the block still, keep your legs firm. Bend your right elbow and catch hold of your left elbow. Something like this. If this isn't working, maybe this is working for you. Wherever you're at that isn't causing suffering, but that's challenging you a bit. You feel a good stretch, but you're not nervous about it, is where you should be. Now, holding onto those arms, roll the shoulders back. Press down into your feet, engaging those two lower bandhas. Take a deep breath in and gaze up. As you exhale, reach forward with the crown of the head and come down. Squeezing the block with the inner thighs. Breathing. Let the head relax down. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. And take 3 more deep breaths here in Baddha Uttanasana. Let the torso release away from the hips. Let the head get a little bit heavier. Final breath in. Inhale and rise all the way up. Exhale, release your arms. Take the block out of the way and place it to one side. Good work. Do a little lap around your mat. Now walk it out. And now let's do our vinyasa to come to seated. Let's do our circling the winds that we practiced at the beginning of this session. So starting in Tadasana this time, arms down next to your sides, chest is well lifted and bright. Take a deep breath in as you lift your arms up to the sky. Gaze up like you're going to catch hold of the sun. Exhale, reach as far forward as you can and make an offering down to your feet. Bring your hands to your shins. Roll your shoulders back and reach your chest forward. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands and step back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift the hips high and push back into your thighs. Inhale now and come forward onto your knees, circling the winds. Untuck your toes. Exhale, reach back with the hips. Press back. Look forward. Inhale, slide forward. Elbows point down and they stay in close to your sides. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Press down with your feet. Tuck your buttocks towards your heels. Let your arms float off the mat just for a few breaths here in Shalabhasana, locust pose, Ardha Shalabhasana, locust pose. Take one more breath. And then exhale, tuck your toes under. Inhale, firm core, still working with those bandhas, come up to all fours. Exhale, untuck the toes, hips back to heels, making this big, beautiful circle with your body. Inhale, come forward to all fours, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the toes under and lift the hips and press back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take your feet a little bit wider. Take 3 or 4 breaths right here. Push back into the thighs. If this is a little much for you, come down to your knees. Keep the hips high, walk the arms forward, and do downward facing puppy. Or do child's pose. Whatever your body is calling for right now, answer that call. 2 more breaths wherever you're at. Enjoying the process. Breathing deep. Come forward onto your knees as you breathe in, and we're going to flow to seated now. Exhale, cross your ankles. Inhale, rock back onto those legs. And as you exhale, roll over your ankles and straighten your legs. Now, if that is a little difficult to roll over the ankles because of ankle things, knee things, hip things, life things, right? You can always do something like this. You can come down to your knees, and then you can swing your hips to the side and come around to seated. If you're choosing that option, just make sure in your own practice that you're swinging your legs out one time to one side, and you're swinging your legs out the next time to the other side, just to reduce the repetitive action or possible strain on the knees. Just switch sides, but keep working on that ankle cross. Now, find your blanket. Place your blanket on your mat for Paschimottanasana, Western stretch. We'll start in Dandasana. You want to sit on the folded edge of your blanket, not the rough edge of your blanket. Place your hips up on the blanket and make sure you have your strap handy. Straighten your legs. Bring your hands down next to your sides. Sit right on the edge of the blanket and lift your sternum chest. Draw the belly in and up. Seal off at your pelvic floor. Press down into your shins. Press down into the backs of the knees. Press down into the upper thighs. Press down into the palms. Draw the belly in, the front ribs in. Lift your back ribs up and breathe. Dandasana. Now, find your strap. Keep these legs firm. Lasso your toes. Get a hold of the balls of the feet, not on the arches of the feet. Straight arms, eyes of the elbows, face up. Pull on this strap to concave your spine. Drawing the spine deep into the body and lifting the sternum chest and spreading the collarbones. Firm core, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhaling, come forward, bend the elbows straight out to the sides and pull back on the strap. Now, if your elbows are bent deeply, you can walk your hands a little closer to your feet, as long as you can keep drawing that spine into the body and you're not feeling a strain in your lower back. Maybe you don't need the strap. Maybe you can take your four fingers around the ball of your foot and you can take your thumb to the big toe. And then elbows bend and you draw back as you reach the crown of your head forward and you reach your sternum bone down. You're here for 5 breaths. Use them wisely. Make them full. Breathe into your back. Breathe into your hips. Breathe into your life. Inhaling, rise up, gaze up, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale back to Dandasana, staff pose. Good job. Now come off your blanket, move your blanket to the back of your mat for bridge pose. The blanket will be handy for your Shavasana. Find your block, make sure you have a block handy, and then plant your feet on the mat. Scoot your hips in close to your heels, round your spine, and slowly lower yourself down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Use your bandhas. And once your head is on the mat, walk your heels in a little closer to your hips and have your feet hips distance wide. Now, make sure your block is somewhere that you can reach without turning your head once your hips are up. Once your hips are up off of the mat, this is where we're going. Once your hips are up off of the mat, this neck becomes rather vulnerable, and if you turn your head, you might get a little pinch in your neck, and that's not what we're doing here, right? So gazing up at the sky, at the ceiling, soft gaze, not turning your head, using your ears to follow, not your eyes. Bring your arms down next to your sides. Here we go. Tuck your shoulders under, draw your belly in, and pressing down into your feet, inhale, lift your sacrum. Send your knees forward and push down into the feet to rise up. Imagine you have a block between your inner thighs to keep the knees in line with your hips. So you've got a little squeezing action going on with those thighs. Now, roll your shoulders under a bit more. Don't turn your head. Do find your block now and place it underneath your sacrum. At level 1 or level 2, level 3 can be a bit unstable with a foam block. So stick to level 1 or level 2 for now. And then pushing down into your feet. Take your sternum bone closer to your chin for your third energy lock, JALANDHARA BANDHA. Slow down your breath now. Smooth it out. And notice maybe you can hear your breath. When we lower our chin to our collarbones, we constrict the throat a little, which siphons the breath through, and you can hear it. We call it Ujjayi breath or victorious breath, that whispering, slightly constricted throat breath. It's healthy, it's purifying. And now, to deepen our pose, if you wish, if it's appropriate for you today and you feel well balanced here and strong, you can lift your right leg straight up to the sky. Bend the right knee, lift the foot, and straighten the right leg. Reaching the toes up, spread the toes. Still an imaginary block between your thighs so that that left knee doesn't splay open. Stand on that left foot. Use your left foot. Keep reaching the sternum bone to the chin. Don't turn your head. Now the right foot, you can lead with the heel. You can lead with the ball of the foot or the toes. Whatever your stretch is wanting right here. And play around with that foot. Decide where you want it and keep it there. 2 more breaths. Exhaling, slowly bend right knee. Gracefully and gently bring your right foot back down to the mat. Side B. Inhale and lift your left foot up off of the mat and straighten the leg up to the sky. Again, feeling the right foot on the mat, pushing down into that right foot and squeezing the inner thighs towards each other to maintain your alignment. Your left foot, the toes can point or the heel can flex, or you can go somewhere in between. Just find out what your body is needing, where there's sensation like you're working, but you're not suffering here. Breathe deep, smooth out that breath, and enjoy your pose. 3 more breaths. Sternum bone reaching to chin, back of the head resting gently on the mat, gazes softly skyward, outer shoulders pressing down. Final breath. Exhale, bend left knee and bring your left foot back down to the mat. Now take a few breaths here, enjoying the stretch across the front of the body as you distribute your energy equally everywhere inside because you're working with that chin lock. Breathe deep. Nourish yourself. And final breath. Now to come out of this pose, remember, don't turn your head until your hips are back down on the mat. But maybe you can walk your feet in a little bit closer to your hips. Lift your heels and come onto the balls of your feet. And then you can lift your hips up off of the block with a little bit more ease. Slide the block out of the way. Thank you, block. And then catching hold of your upper glutes with your hands. Stretch the flesh of the lower back and the glutes as you roll yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. And then the feet rest on the mat. Good work. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug and rock side to side. Make little circles one way and then the other. And then come to center with the knees. Bring the feet together and the knees together. Take a huge breath in. Take a full breath out. Exhale. Lift your head off the mat. Bring your knees to your forehead. Round your spine. Curl yourself up. Inhale. Bring the head back to the mat. Exhale and bring the feet back to the mat. Draw your right leg in, catch onto the back of the thigh, interlace your fingers, and straighten your left leg. Squeezing the right thigh in to the side ribs so the knee is lining up with the armpit. The leg's a little off to the side here. Your left leg is straight, the upper thigh presses down, the belly draws in. Stretching out the lower back and the glutes. And you're also massaging your intestines, giving your internal organs a little squeeze, which is like wringing out a dirty sponge. You squeeze that sponge out, and then all the fresh energy can come in once all the old has been squeezed out. Breathing in here. One more. Exhale and bring your right foot down to the mat. Keep the knee bent. Bend your left leg. Draw your left leg in and take the opposite interlace of the fingers. Straighten on the back of the thigh. Straighten your right leg. So feel your right leg pressing down with the upper thigh, reaching through the heel. Tuck your outer shoulders under and squeeze your left thigh in towards your side ribs, towards your armpit. Breathing. Yoga works profoundly on your internal organs, which is a great boon for this practice. Your internal organs keep you alive. It's not your muscles or your arms or your legs. It's your internal organs. So you're tonifying your physical body inside and out. Take one more breath. As you exhale, bring your right leg in and bend the knee. Float your left foot back down to the mat, both knees bent. Heel toe your feet together. Cross your right leg over your left. And zipping up the inner thighs, you've got a nice squeeze with those legs. Shift your hips a few inches to the right. Open up your arms wide to the sides, tuck your shoulders under, turn your palms up. And then lifting your left foot up off of the mat, let your knees roll over to the left and turn your head to the right. Breathing here. Pressing your right shoulder blade down. The back of your right hand down. If the arms are floating up in this position, bring them down towards your sides a little bit more, or bend your elbows. Inhale and come back up to center. Shift your hips back in line with your spine and uncross your legs. Cross your left leg over your right, nice and tight. Get those legs as close together as you can. And then shift your hips over to the left. And lifting your right foot up off of the mat, let your knees roll over to the right. And just let gravity work on the legs. You're not pushing them, you're not forcing them down, you're just letting them relax down. Turn your head, lift your head. Turn your head so that your ear comes closer to the mat. Pressing down into the left shoulder blade and the back of the left hand. Twisting, squeezing out the internal organs, tonifying, balancing your spine. 2 more breaths. Next breath in, bring the knees back up, head back up. Shift your hips back in line with your spine, uncross your legs. Now let your knees open up wide and bring the bottoms of your feet together. Take the webbing between your index finger and thumb and bring it right to the crease of your hips, right to your upper thigh. Dig your elbows into the mat and then push away with those hands like you're trying to straighten the arms. See if you can get a little traction release in your lower back here. Belly is hollow and drawing in. Feet are pressing together to open up the thighs. 1 more breath here, a little bit of traction for that lower back. And then exhale, release your arms. Bring your hands to your belly, close your eyes. Take a few conscious belly breaths. Let the belly expand. Notice the quality of your breath. Is it a little jagged or uneven, or is it smooth and flowing? Or is it somewhere in between? Try to smooth it out. Take one more. And now you've arrived at your final destination for this practice, Shavasana, deep relaxation pose. Your blanket might be at the top of your mat, ready for you, yeah? Slide it underneath your head and neck, but not underneath your shoulders. It comes right to the top of my shoulders, comforting, nestling, snuggling in, but it's not under the shoulders. Now the legs, a couple of options. You can open up the legs wide right from here, and you can let the feet just fall open and let the inner thighs just fall open. A second option for the legs is to bend the knees, bring the feet to the sides of the mat. So they're nice and wide. You can feel the outer edges of the mat with your feet, and then let the knees rest on each other. Tuck the buttocks under so the lower back, the sacrum, can rest comfortably on the floor. So you choose your leg position here. The arms come out to the side and slightly down towards the front of the mat, but there's space underneath the armpits. The palms turn up, the thumbnails click down on the floor, and then the arms and the hands relax. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, sigh it out and close your eyes. Now moisten your lips and draw your tongue back into your mouth and let it rest on the lower palate away from the sides of the teeth. Let the little muscles around your eyes soften and broaden. And let the orbs of your eyes gently release away from the inner lids. It's a softening, a falling back, a quieting. Notice the little muscles around your ears. Just let them relax and smooth out. So you're not reaching out for sounds. They're just moving past you, by you easily. You're unattached to any sounds. Bring your awareness to your nostrils. Let your nostrils flare, soften, and with your next in-breath, feel the breath moving in cool and fresh, swirling down a relaxed, open throat, and filling your lungs with that precious life force contained within the breath, your prana. Your skin, your entire outer sheath. Ask your skin to relax and to release away from the muscle throughout the entire body. Turn the fibers of the skin inward. And feel inside. This time here is precious. Look inward and downward to the seat of the soul behind the sternum bone. The ancient yogis tell us that this is where our soul resides, Maybe imagine a beautiful temple, a palace, paradise, right there behind your sternum bone. Make it beautiful. What would make it beautiful? Diamonds on the floor, rubies on the walls, sapphires on the ceiling. Or maybe your paradise, your temple is a beautiful meadow, or an ocean, or a mountain. Create a beautiful image of where you would like your soul to spend its time. And then imagine sitting down in that space, in that palace, in that temple, in that meadow, in that field, on that mountain, by that river. And see yourself resting, happy, content, peaceful, safe. Very gently now. Start to draw your awareness back to your breath. Taking a little fuller inhalation, a longer, slower exhalation. Let the breath gently guide you back to your body. And then feeling your body resting on the earth, the pull of gravity, and the lightness of space, all at the same time. Resting in that sacred place you built for yourself. Know that you can go back there anytime. Anytime. It's yours forever. And so with that knowledge and a little smile on your face, light feeling in your heart, start to bring a little motion back to your fingers and your toes. Just brush your thumbs across your fingertips and wiggle your toes. Roll your wrists and your ankles around in little circles and turn your head one side to the other, ear to earth, ear to earth. And then as if you are waking from an exquisitely beautiful dream where everything worked out well, lift your arms above your head and just take a full, deep, organic stretch. Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in, and then breathe in a little more and sigh it out. Bend your knees. Bring your feet to the mat. Shift your hips a few inches to the left and roll all the way over onto your right side. All the way over. Let your right upper arm be a pillow and curl up with your knees and close to your hips. And breathe here into your back. Grateful for a body that enabled you to not only get out of bed this morning, but get on your mat and do these amazing things to train your body and your mind, to purify your soul, to reconnect you with yourself. Makes you happier, healthier, more peaceful, less violent. You become like that candle in the dark room. Just one candle burns away all the darkness, right? When you get on your mat and you practice yoga and you work on yourself, it is the most unselfish thing that you can do because it makes you that little candle in that room and you shine light onto everyone around you. When you're near a happy person, it makes you happy, right? You become that little beacon, that flame of happiness for other people. And we need more of that out there. And that's what you're doing here on the mat. So thank you on behalf of the universe and all those that you'll encounter as you move through your day or your evening and your week. So take a moment here to really thank yourself for what you've done, to celebrate it, to recognize it, and now using the strength of your arms and keeping your head very heavy, so it's the last thing that rises up. Move slowly, move gracefully, and bring yourself slowly up to seated. As you come to seated, take a little hip support and cross your left shin in. Bring your right to the outside. Lift your sternum chest. Bring your palms together and bring the thumbs to heart center. Level chin, close your eyes. And we dedicate our practice now, giving this practice away, all this good merit, the good karma. We share it like a gift with the world. And as we send it out there, we wish for all beings everywhere, every single living being. May they be happy. And may they be healthy. May they be safe. And may they be at peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Together, we offer the sound of Om to seal our practice of union, remembering yoga means union. The union of our body and our mind and our soul with the universal soul, with the energy of the universe, with that loving, compassionate energy. When there is no separation, there is no suffering. Exhale to begin. Inhale for your Om or your Amen. Bow your head. Exhaling, float the backs of your hands to your thighs. Palms face up. And with your eyes still closed, your chest well lifted and bright, a little smile on your face, slowly inhale and bring your chin smoothly up to center. And as you exhale, smoothly open your eyes. Your sparkly, shining, happy post-yoga eyes. Thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for getting on your mat. And thank you for being my teachers. From the divine light in me, I honor and bow down to that divine light within you. Namaste.